Welcome everyone. So in this module we're going to go the next level in with bird language. And we are going to explore what are the 6 primary vocalizations, sounds, indications that birds are offering us, that we can feel into the environment and know what is happening around us. And before we go, I just want to introduce where this comes from. And this comes from a man named John Young, who is the original founder of the Wilderness Awareness School up in Duvall, Washington, called Anaki. And he now facilitates what's called 8 Shields, which is all about restoring the village culture, which is what we're experiencing through NatureWise and Tree of Totems. Now, John Young had this several amazing teachers. One was John Brown Jr., who he grew up, and as he was growing up, like as a young boy around 10, 11 years old, he met Tom Brown. Young John was carrying this turtle, and Tom Brown, of all people, were driving by. He goes, "Hey, what are you going to do with that turtle, kid?" And he goes, "Soup." He's going to make soup with this turtle. It's like a little 11-year-old. And it found out that Tom Brown Jr. actually lived like on the same block. And Tom Brown started mentoring John Young. And John Young ended up being one of his first instructors when Tom Brown Jr. became famous and started his own wilderness school over there on the East Coast. After that, John Young got this other teacher named Ingwe, who was actually an Englishman, but he grew up with the Bushmen in Africa. And John went over there and he began to also mentor with these Bushmen, and that's where the bird language really came from, because their survival over there really depended upon them being cued into their environment, to know exactly where the tigers are or the hyenas or other things, so that when they're out there harvesting their roots or they're doing their hunting, they're cued in with what to be aware of. And so John Young really apprenticed himself to this bird language. And he actually identifies 5 different bird languages or vocalizations. And I'm going to just add one and say that there's actually 6. And within each of those, there's very different levels and all these other textural layers within each of these different classifications of the vocalizations. And so we're going to explore that in the next video. All right, excited to share it with you.